What's up, and welcome to the Boys of Fall Week 9 in college football. I said it last week. I feel like I'm going to say it every week. Like, I cannot believe how fast this is going. Feels like, my senior year is flying by or something like that. A great time to be alive right now, especially betting college football, NFL, hockey. We have the sports equinox coming up where every sport's going to be on at the same time. It's going fantastic. Ty, how are you feeling today? Watching, keep your eye on Boston College, I think, right now, right?
Yeah. Of course, I'm in love with Boston College. And I love finding a good team total, which I'm looking at right now. But yeah, college football's almost over. Week 9, it really stinks. It's it's one of those things where all the greatest things in life don't last too long. Because if we got this all year long, it wouldn't feel as good when it's here. It's one of those, I love to watch you leave. I hate to see you go. So I love you when it's just sad. I'm loving it while it's here. It's slowly dwindling down, but it's going to be sad once, January hits and I'm like, oh God, I have so long. But
and then that's where
I just spring. Yeah, that's when we turn to the Boys of Spring. And if you love football, then you love the United Football League. All right. Do not, trash it until you try it.
Right.
But we had a good week last week.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, like, if you've seen Jake Bates hit some field goals, he beat my Vikings at the buzzer. Jake Bates came from the UFL. There's some of that talent, and we knew even then, and we're like, this dude's got a leg. Like, this dude's bombing the ball.
Yep.
But yeah, let me pull up the recap from last time. If you guys have not got a chance yet, make sure you like the video, make sure you share it if you're on Twitter, whatever. More importantly, make sure you drop a comment. Let us know you guys are here. We can pull you up. If you have any questions, whatever, we can talk about it. Last episode was pretty interactive, pretty great. I forgot to share my screen even, so I got to do that. Give me just a second. But super interactive last time, and that certainly does help. It just kind of helps the show come along, and everything. And then as you guys are talking and everything, we can talk about more things or whatever. Just like Jody here. Can't believe I've been cooked 3 weeks in a row. One leg of these plays, 8-1 each time. Yeah, we are like the parlay is generally like a plus 50,000. We got plenty of time to do it. Maybe it's going to be this week, but 10 straight bets is probably a lot in a day, but straights pay the bills. Parlays are what do they say in golf? You drive for show and you putt for dough. You hit parlays for show, but you build your bankroll by playing straight bets and everything like that, So, but on Ty's side here, Ty hooked, and I ran out of time. I was gonna try to find a little hook emoji instead of his X there because you feel that you don't even deserve that X. That was a heck of a game. I knew it was gonna be a barn burner, and it was. We just missed out on, I guess, the key number even maybe, but Ty, you got to feel good about what you did last week, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel really good. What sucks is that the plus 7.5. The only reason why we didn't take it was because it was -1. Like they boosted it. Like as soon as you cross that key number, like they juice it heavily. So for me, it's always -150 or below for a straight. And it took it from like -136 to -169.
Yeah,
so
they know what they're doing.
So that's the reason. But that is why we buy points. We're not buying a ton to make it -160 and up, but when you have it at 6.5, you might as well buy that point because prime example right here, that kept me from a perfect day.
Right. And if you're in the Discord, I don't know. I think I might have put this on Twitter too, but we hit the pass touchdown in every quarter. And I tell you, it was one of the easiest bets. I felt good about it. I think I might have put a couple hundred on it. It was a +5 something. I walked away with like $1,000 on it, and I loved it. It was a great game. It was a really good game. Ty had some really good reads there, and the rest of them. I mean, Navy, Army continue to be fantastic. I think Army's got a bye week this week, but that Army Navy team total,
Yeah, Army's on a bye.
parlay would just feed families if you just kept hitting that over and over. But then I went a little 3-2, which is certainly still positive, certainly still good. Clemson first half, that train maybe has fallen off. We ride some trends or whatever for a while. Missouri, I was watching that game. I don't know how many of you guys were actually watching it. Brady Cook gets hurt in the first quarter, misses like really the entire game. Comes back out in the fourth quarter and leads this come from behind victory. And I mean, I needed the money. I had Brady Cook's pass yards, but I'm just like, man, this is an awesome thing. I wanted them to win just for that. Brady Cook came back, flu game kind of thing. It was really neat. But you see how we did there. I would got whooped. UNLV continues to be a solid look there. Ty, I don't know if you shared that TikTok of UNLV and Michael Myers there, but that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's going to be an awesome game tonight. We'll see. I'm going to give out a play here live, just like I did last Friday, which one easily for us. So you guys are getting a ton. There's so much value here in this show. You take 50 minutes out of your day to get 10 free winners. Now, imagine if you came to the Discord. I was up 23 units last week. 23.
That's crazy.
So
that's pretty good.
Yeah. No, I'm up like 30. I think it's like 38 units on the month. So I'm trying to get 40 units. That's the goal. If I could get to 50, that would be insane. But all right, enough of last week. Let's jump right into it. Let's get to it. You want me to start off? I feel like I always start. Right. You want me to start? Okay.
Yep. Let it rip.
So we're going to go to the Big Ten. We're going to get a newcomer versus one of my favorite teams to watch. We're getting Indiana versus Washington. What Signetti is doing out there in Sig 10 country, Google me, he wins. You better believe he wins. Okay? Yeah. So I'm wearing the shirt for tonight's show specifically. Life's too short to bet the under, so there's no way in hell I'm wearing this shirt and we're not taking it over. All right? Indiana scores over 48.7. Well, not over. Their average is 48.7 points per game. Their lowest scoring total for the entire year was 31 points. That's an Overs Club members only dream right there. A wet dream of points. And I'm in love with it. All right. I've changed my pants multiple times from watching this Indiana team. Okay. I think this is a great team, whether you want to take the spread, whether you want to put them in a money line parlay, doesn't matter. They're going to help us. They're going to hook us up. Washington, I'm not impressed with at all. We watched Iowa drop 40 on them. Rutgers, who's been allergic to offense the last few weeks, put 21 on them. They did beat Michigan, but I'm not even going to put too much weight on that. Go Boston College, go. All right, so we're going to take the Indiana team total over 30.5. Sig 10 country.
And at this point, so they did lose Curtis Work, which I'm sure you're aware of, but I don't think that's an issue. I like them at -6.5. He broke his thumb or something like that. The dude that came in was 7 and 8, 2 passing touchdowns. I don't know if he's a mobile type dude or not, but are they the real deal? Is IU real? I think so.
Yeah. Yes. So he's got a culture out there early. Yeah, he's got the culture out there early. There's just no way, I just don't see 31. You're giving me an offense at the lowest that they've scored all year is 31 points. I get the backup QB, but I loved what I saw from him last week. Even though Rourke went down, I mean, they beat the brakes off of them. So, yeah, and they're at home. So give me Indiana team total over 30.5.
Like them.
That could be a first half cash.
Yeah. And their defense, he's getting it done too. All right, my first play. Gonna need some points in this one too. I like Ole Miss. This line is actually, and I realized I got a typo on my other screen here, so I'll try to fix that if I can. But I got Ole Miss -29 on the recap screen. That's a lot of points. It was 21.5. I'm sorry. It was 20.5. It went down to 19.5. So we're going to take Ole Miss 19.5 versus Oklahoma. Look, Ole Miss, you saw Jackson Dart talking, and they were just, when they lost to LSU, I mean, they were down in the dumps, and they're like, we got to win out. There's nothing we can do. We gotta win out. We gotta kill teams, whatever. I think that's what's gonna happen. They've been on a bye. They've been sitting there stewing after this loss. I think they're come out, hair on fire. The Sooners that going with a new offensive coordinator, their offense looking terrible. Oklahoma's offense has been terrible. They're going to struggle in this defense. It's been, fantastic. Ole Miss's defense has looked good. The Sooners O-line's been getting cooked. They're allowing nearly the most sacks, the most tackles for a loss, and Ole Miss's front seven is pretty dang solid. On the other side of the ball, Ole Miss is going to look to put up a ton of points, like I said, coming off this loss. I think it's going to be high flying. Look, some of my plays are really, a lot of my plays were just gut. And I look at the Ole Miss spread, under 3 touchdowns. I think they're coming in, like I said, it's time to put up a crooked number on them. I think Ole Miss covers that pretty easily under the 3 touchdowns. I looked at the first half, minus 11.5, but because they're coming off a bye, they might start slow. Defense, I don't think, gives up points. Maybe offense looks rusty for a quarter, so I was a little nervous about that. But I do trust the defense to not let a backdoor cover or anything. So we're like an Ole Miss minus 19.5 versus Oklahoma for my first play.
All right. I like it. All right, so next we're going to go to my favorite teams to bet on. I don't like to bet on the big games. I like my games to be unrigged. Too small to rig. No reason to rig it. So we're going to go to Charlotte versus Memphis. Okay. I love this game. And I'm going to take the over here. I believe last time I checked, I believe it was 55.5. We're moving the alt. I'm sorry. We're going to bring it down to 55.5. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Charlotte has not looked that great. Defensively, they look really beat up. So for me, this is a situation where, that's why you see the spread. It was like 18.5. Maybe it's come down a little bit. But to me, this is going to be a game where Memphis probably carries most of it. Charlotte should be able to help us out here at the end if they can run the ball a little bit. But at that point, they just got 51 points put on them last week by Navy. And I love my Navy boys. I love my seamen, Like I said, Blake Horvat, that's my guy, will always be my guy. But 51 points put on by Charlotte. Memphis can score in a multitude of ways. And I think Memphis just puts it on them big time. So we're going to move this all underneath the key number of 56. We're going to go to 55.5. We're going to take the over because life's too short to bet the under. All right. So we got 2 overs already to kick it off. This Memphis team, I'm not in love with them, but this is more a, us going against Charlotte, especially since Memphis just put up 52 on North Texas. So I think that they carry most of the weight, and Charlotte can help us get over that hump.
I thought about looking at that North Texas versus whoever they're playing. That was just a barn burner, man. North Texas puts up a ton of points. Fish, we were just talking about IU earlier. A bad loss is going to certainly mess that up, but I think if they continue to win, there's no doubt, honestly. There's no doubt. They're going to play some tough competition here soon, but yeah, Vols. How about them Vols? I don't know, man. I still not convinced. Good defense. Offense doesn't know what they're doing. All right. So, I kind of like to, there's a different school of thought. Ty likes to stay away from the mainstream. I kind of do too, but there's times where you're betting on even NBA and you're betting somebody for points and might as well take a LaMelo Ball or somebody that is going to shoot the ball 25 times instead of a dude that you're hoping is going to shoot the ball 4 times or something like that. And with that example, I bring in Miami minus 20.5 because they're going to throw the ball 100 times. Cam Ward is going to throw bombs. We talked about how good this game was. Miami is going to come out and do the same thing. Miami is going to throw, and I don't know if you guys watched the game, but I mean, Cam Ward is making some throws that are just, I mean, they're NFL quality. He's not going against NFL quality defensive backs, obviously. But the guy's threading the needle. He's throwing on a rope, however you want to say it. The guy's looking fantastic. The guy can throw the heck out of the ball. Florida State is bad. Miami's damn good. That's the top line of the note that I had. And I could almost stop right there. FSU's offense is just as stagnant as can be. DJU is, hurt. Since DJU's gone out, surprisingly, they've gotten worse on offense. They can't, even if they manage a touchdown, even if they happen to get a second touchdown, I think it's Miami's going to score, and they're not going to stop. This is Miami, and it's a what's it called? A rivalry game. So Miami's going to want to go out and put up a crooked number on them. This is also, I think, every game is a situation to solidify the Cam Ward hype. Let Cam Ward keep throwing the ball. Let him keep running the score up. Let him keep trying to pad his stats to get themselves a Heisman from the U. So I like Miami minus 20. As long as it's under 21.5, solid. Take it. I think it's going to be a massive 50 to something stupid, honestly.
All right, Cam Ward.
You were starting to point at me. Cam Ward, man. I don't think he's necessarily going to win.
No. Harley said Boston College, like team total over 33.5 live bet. And I just, gave a, finger gun. Oh. Bang. Hit it. Yep. We need 2 touchdowns. Hit it.
Right.
Well, no reason for us not to take the under. You need 2 touchdowns. The team's already put up 3. Of course we're taking that. I already put it out in the Discord, Harley.
There you go.
You kind of read my mind.
There you go.
Here's a game because these dudes owe me money. All right. A lot of you guys that are in the Discord were kind of, putting together a noose, getting ready to hang me when I said Purdue plus 31.5. And then I also said sprinkle Purdue money line. Boy, that was a backfire. But it wasn't really so much that I believed that they could win. It was just like, Ohio State.
Principle. That's what you do.
Well, they just had that game with Ohio State that came down to the wire. And you're just like, this could be a perfect spot to maybe catch them sleeping. I thought for sure they were going to cover the 31.5. Turns out that they're more allergic to points than Rutgers. They couldn't find the end zone at all. Not at all. And they had a couple opportunities down the stretch. But Oregon won 35-0. So guess who owes me money? Oregon. So today or tomorrow, I'm going to collect. So we're going to Oregon versus Illinois. Yesterday when I gave the plays to Jort, it was Illinois plus 22.5. Now it's plus 21.5. That's fine. 22 is basically a dead number. So we're going to take Illinois plus 21.5, and we're going to sprinkle money line. All right. This Illinois team is good. I like them a lot. Luke Altmaier is the truth. He can run. He can throw. He's Superman out there. He might even be able to fly. I'm not sure, but he might tomorrow. Puddles is going to be in a puddle of moose piss tomorrow when my boy Luke Altmaier and that Brett Bielema defense comes and shows up. And maybe they probably don't win, but they're covering the plus 21.5. But you're going to sprinkle the money line just because. Okay. Thanks, Joe. My guy right there, Joe. That guy actually, he's a human pillow for my sister's head. It's crazy. Yeah. That guy. Yeah, my sister just lays on his lap all the time. She doesn't know how to lay any other way. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Sure. I'm pretty sure that, that's Joe, the human pillow. But anyways, we're going to go Illinois plus 21.5. Sprinkle them money line. Okay. That's what we're going to do. I just don't trust that this Oregon team can pull away. Purdue was bad, really bad. Yeah, Quan, I'm not kidding. I know, crazy. All right, so we're taking Illinois plus 21.5. Yeah. I'm not kidding. Joe, I think, is sleeping with my sister. This is not a joke. I'm not kidding. No joke here.
All right.
He's a good guy, though. Good guy.
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of Speaking of sprinkling on the money line, LSU is plus 1.5. We're just gonna skip it. Just take the money line on it. It's like plus 110, plus 100, something like that. Don't need it. Don't need that extra point. Last week we talked about how much I do like this LSU team, not just because the colors or anything like that. But they're good, as a road underdog. As much as I don't like Brian Kelly, as a road underdog, 23-11. This LSU team is probably one of the best teams that he's coached. A lot of good players on that team, probably some NFL talent on this team. And Texas A&M's QB did not look good last week, throwing 2 interceptions against Mississippi State, of all teams, which ranks near the bottom in pass defense. I mean, I was actually shocked looking at this game. I mean, they were hanging with A&M for a while. Nussmeier's been fantastic, the quarterback for LSU. He's been good. He's been good in the big game. Nussmeier looked great against Ole Miss. Nussmeier's been tested. What's it? It's Wegman, I think is how you pronounce it. Weigman. He didn't look good against Notre Dame. He hasn't looked good in the big game versus Notre Dame. He didn't look good against the bad defense of Mississippi State. LSU's got an okay defense. They've got one of those like they wreak havoc type of defenses. I think LSU is going to throw the ball all over the yard on them. Garrett Nussmeier's throwing for 300, 350 type yards on average. Guy's been a monster. And I don't feel that A&M's defense is good, but I don't think it's good enough to get him rattled. So I think he's going to do a good job and kind of pick them apart. And LSU wins the game. I mean, that's all we need. That's all we need. Tell you what, it's at plus 1.5. If you're a FanDuel customer, they've got a 50% boost. I bet you if you look at that plus 3.5 with a 50% boost, it gets you a pretty good odds. That's probably a pretty good spot. That's probably something that I would do officially tomorrow. I bet you it's like minus 150, and I bet you that gets you at plus 100, and you might as well take that 3-point insurance. But for the sake of the show, we're going to ride with the LSU money line for my third play already. We're flying along. Love them a lot. Don't like Brian Kelly, but LSU just as a ball team just does a good job of showing up when we need them to, and I think they're going to show up.
Yeah, listen, if you're going to take the plus 1.5, you might as well ride the lightning to heaven and take the money line. Right? All dogs go to heaven. You take the dog, you end up with money in your pocket meeting Jesus. Say hello. Who's going to win the high? It's Travis Hunter. It has to be Travis Hunter. Everyone wants to say Ashton Genty, whatever, Michael Myers in the flesh. But it's got to be Travis Hunter. I've been saying this here for weeks. It has nothing to do with the fact that I have a ticket only on Travis Hunter. Of course, that has about 50% to do with it, but
if he can't stay healthy, though, that's going to be in trouble.
It doesn't matter. The guy plays more snaps than anybody. That's why he can't stay healthy. We have to start to think of that.
Did you see that FanDuel? Speaking of him, did you see that FanDuel's got whether or not Genty is going to break the all-time rushing record, and it's like plus 200, plus 300 or something?
No, I probably don't get that. I don't get the Midwest bets.
Yeah, because you can't bet on props. That's right. Well, that's such a thing. Just FYI.
Yeah, I don't get Midwest bets. Okay, but we're going to go down. I talked about the Seaman earlier. I'm going to talk about the Seaman again. You have the real Heisman winner that will not get chosen at the end of the year. He should at least be invited to New York, and that guy's name is Blake Horvath, and he puts an anchor on the side of his helmet because he plays for the midshipmen, and boy, oh God, do I love this guy. This guy is my favorite player to watch. Ashton Genty, who? Travis Hunter, who? Garrett Nussmeier, who? Dylan Gabriel, who? No, Blake Horvath is H-I-M, capital him. I love the Seaman, all right? And guess what? I love him tomorrow. Plus 14.5 versus the Fighting Irish. No way in hell are the midshipmen going to row the boats over there and not cover. And let me tell you something else. There's no way that they're going to go over there and lose. They're not losing. They're winning. We're going to get 2 undefeated teams, Army, Navy, playing at the end of the year. That won't mean anything. But Blake Horvath is him. Mark it down. That guy is going to do it all. They're going to beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame. They do respect Coin, and that's the thing. Every week in and week out, those military kids, salute to service, play of the week. Every week you got to have it. Those kids respect Coin. When you see a veteran, thank a veteran for all the points they've been putting up for us lately. That's it. That's all I got to say. I don't have to say too much else about Navy. I'm on them every week, one way or the other. I want to take team total. Believe me, I want to take team total. And I'm going to take just give you another play. Navy, are you on that? Sorry. You're on that? No. Take Navy team total, too. Navy money line, Navy spread, Navy team total. That's stupid. He does not like Coin, and he is not a patriot. We know that. Jort is unpatriotic. I said it here first by not taking Navy. Take Navy every which way you can. First half, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Team total.
As a Notre Dame fan, I mean, just the nature of the game. And Notre Dame likes to run the ball. Notre Dame has a mobile quarterback. Navy likes to run the ball. So therefore, the clock's going to be moving. There's not going to be enough opportunity for Notre Dame to get up that much. And I've seen this game too many times. The plus 14.5 it's a good bet. For sure.
Well, Notre Dame's not going to get up at all. Let's just be right here. All right. Yeah, they're not. They're not built for this. They go to church. My guy goes to war class. Okay.
Whatever. Notre Dame Stadium, though, is still the best. Or I'm sorry, campus. Just how good is Iowa State? Iowa State almost lost. Iowa State is supposed to have a good rush defense, and UCF ran for like 570 yards against them. Probably not that much, but it was like 350 plus, if not more than that. Iowa State barely won the game, but they did not beat a very good UCF team they struggled with. I do think they're good, but they're not capital G good. All right. Anyway, moving on. I got two dogs. We got two dogs coming up. Well, more dogs. I got two big favorites and three dogs. So the next one is Duke plus 11.5. The game against Florida State that they played just recently, last week, terrible game. I mean, it was a terrible game. If somebody from another country was watching college football and this was the product they got to watch, not exciting. No, neither team can move the ball. Florida State looked horrendous. I think there's one point they had like 50 pass yards in the third quarter or something like that. But Duke's defense is legit, and this is realistically the play kind of comes down to Duke's defense. It's just a spot where the number's too big. It's too big because I don't think there's going to be enough points scored. Duke's got a pretty damn good defense, and double digits is just too much for SMU to have to cover. SMU thrives on the big play, those havoc chunk type plays, and Duke simply does not give that up. They're just like I play on Madden. You bend but don't break. I'd rather somebody deke and dunk underneath me, but I'm not going to allow somebody to go over top. That's Duke. Duke does not give up those big plays. SMU, started out sluggish. I loved SMU in the beginning. SMU came out the way that I expected SMU to start this season. I'd probably be going different, but SMU is not the same SMU of the last year and a half. Duke has held each of their three home opponents to 21 or less points. The game's going to be sluggish. The game's going to be probably a little gross. It's going to be decided by a late touchdown. Whoever has the ball last is going to be driving to score, kick a field goal, or they're going to be trying to get that last first down because they are barely up. 11.5 is entirely too much in my opinion. And Ty might have more on this play later.
No, I mean, I love that play. You're giving me a home dog with a good defense against an inconsistent offense. Yeah, no brainer. Love it. Love it. All right, we're moving to my final play of the game, and it has to be in theme for the day. So we're going, what? Over on points. There's no better way to watch a football game than when you're rooting for points. Like tonight, we were rooting for the Boston College Louisville over 53.5. So we're going to go to Kansas versus Kansas State. We're going over 55.5. That line, I don't know if it's moved. If it did, move it under the key number 56. The last 3 straight weeks, Kansas State has gone over this number. They had 62, 59, and then was that maybe like 62. And then Kansas, the last 4 weeks in a row, they've gone over 38-27 against TCU, 31-35 against Arizona State, 42-14 against Houston, and 32-28 against Kansas. I understand that this is a rivalry game between two teams with inside the state fighting for the rights to Kansas, but I do not believe that this is going to be a defensive fight. This will be an offensive fight. Jaden Daniels finally looks like the Jaden Daniels that we were expecting to see early on in the year. Took him a little bit to get there, but he is finally starting to look like the Daniels that we've been wanting to see. So, of course, I'm going to finish it out. And the only way I know how, with an over, points. Overs Club members only play of the day.
And they call this game's got a name.
Yes.
And it's like the Sunflower or something.
Let's see.
I don't know why. Do you know why? Like,
No.
that's like, it's like.
Yeah, the Sunflower Showdown. The name is derived from a nickname for the state of Kansas as well as the state flower, the Sunflower State. Well, that's not as exciting as I thought it was going to be. Maybe it should be called like the Meth Bowl or no jobs found bowl in Kansas, or the Dust Bowl, or Torpedo Alley Bowl.
I think Kansas is a pretty flat state.
Kansas is, yep. We just learned that.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Some random creeper just let us know about Kansas. That's funny. That's a heck of a name right there. Kansas rush defense or pass defense has been pretty bad too. So Jalen Daniels should probably eat him up. Oh.
Yeah, you can take Boston College team. Let me see. Okay, so I put Boston College team total. It was 33.5. Let's see where Louisville's sitting at. They were sitting at 21.5 prior to them scoring. I didn't like that. Louisville team total over 23.5. I feel more comfortable going with Boston College. I need 2 touchdowns. So BC team total live.
I am going to happen to my last play, but like I usually do, here's the quick plug. First off, if you haven't liked the video, subscribed, any of that stuff, make sure you do that for me, please. Now is certainly time to start popping some questions into chat so we can talk about, if we have any thoughts on Ohio State game, Texas, whatever, these other big games that you guys might have. Now's the time for you guys to pop those questions. We're not staring around looking at each other, waiting for you guys to do that. But talking about, Ty keeps saying I'm un-American, and it feels like this play that I have is un-American because for whatever reason, the stars and the celebrities, they all come out. All of America cares about the Colorado Buffaloes. And I think that the Cincinnati Bearcats are going to cover +6.5 versus Colorado. And I was talking to Ty before the show. We talked about moving that to the key number of 7.5. And it makes it like -150, -160. It's too much for me to give it out straight and feel, accomplished about it, to claim that as a win kind of thing. So the sake of the show, we're going to stick to +6.5. If I was going to play this in the Discord, I would certainly move it up to 6.5 or I'm sorry, 7.5 would be a good teaser line. I think the Cincinnati offense is probably the best that Colorado's faced so far. Since he has a very balanced offense that can beat their opponents in many ways, they're not one-dimensional. They can kind of do it every which way, just like their defense matches up really well to Colorado. Cincinnati has a really good run defense. Colorado is not able to run the ball really at all. Colorado's not going to be able to run the ball in this matchup, in my opinion. That is going to turn Colorado, which is what they really want to do, but Sanders is going to drop back and throw the ball 45 times, if not more. We talked about Travis Hunter. He was supposed to try to play or whatever, ended up only playing a half. And we still don't know, unfortunately with college football, you don't know what's going on. Just like the Brady Cook saga I talked about, there is still no official news to my knowledge of whether or not Brady Cook's going to be in. And you're looking at a -17.5 line for Alabama right now. What if Brady Cook does play in? Does that move that line back and forth? It's difficult with college football, but whether or not Hunter's in, whether he's not in, I think Cincinnati is a pretty good team. I think getting them at nearly a touchdown, at least over the key number of, 3.5, 4.5 feels pretty good. I think Cincinnati could go in and win this game outright. I'm not much of a I mean, I'm not one to really, call dogs or talking about these dogs or anything like that, but I think that I think Cincy wouldn't be a bad little sprinkle, just like, and it's out of the principle. You're rooting for that. You're not rooting for them to go out there and barely lose. Well, it's like, I think they're going to lose, but not by that much. No, like you really want them to go out and win the game. So that's where that sprinkle, whatever kind of comes in when you're talking about take the dog, sprinkle the money line, because that's what you want to happen anyway. So I'm going to go with, like I said, Cincy plus 6.5 as my last play. Now's the time, like I said, to drop some questions. If you're curious about any particular games, we can pull the recap up in a moment. I can pull up on the other screen here. I got I always just look at FanDuel. I mean, I don't know. It's just I feel like it's quicker to use. I use DraftKings and FanDuel, but I have FanDuel pulled up. I can see the full slate of games here. If you guys have any in particular questions, I got the lines pulled up here. We could take a look. And if not, I mean, we can kind of let it rip. I am waiting to eat dinner. Held off for some dinner, so I'd be okay getting out of here if you guys don't have anything else for us.
Well, just let me get into my barking dog section here.
There you go.
All right. I got 5 dogs like I do for you every week. We usually hit 2, maybe 3. The one week we actually did really, really well. This one's going to be a little difficult, though. We got a little bit bigger of spreads. So first game is going to be Temple versus Eastern Carolina. We're going with the Owls. Temple. Okay. ECU has not looked good. Temple's offense, they've sort of figured it out. They look decent. They don't look great. They don't look good. They look decent. ECU's in a perfect spot to lose. Temple just beat Tulsa last week. They did lose to UConn the week prior, but let's roll with Temple there. Then Jordan had this play earlier, Duke versus SMU. I'm taking Duke on the money line. Well, Trent, I got you. See, me and you, same brainwaves, my man. All right, we're taking Duke money line. All right. Then this is the team I don't understand why they continue to be favored every single week. Arizona. Trash. Okay? This is not the same Arizona team from last week. We're going West Virginia money line. Then we're going out to the island where things tend to get a little hairy. And for some reason, I don't know what happens out there, some sort of Moana magic or something that prevents these guys from showing up and playing football the way they're supposed to. But we're going to take Nevada money line. I really like the way Nevada's looked. They beat Oregon State, and they did lose to Fresno State last week, but that game was close. They should have won outright. But it is what it is. I think they go to the island. They handle business. Why he's not looked fantastic. Finally, this one's like basically a pick 'em, I think, at this point. But we're going to roll Stanford over Wake Forest. Okay? So let me say that again. We're going to go Temple. We're going to go Duke Blue Devils. We're going to go West Virginia over Arizona. Nevada over Hawaii. And Stanford over Wake Forest. Some of them are actually pretty, like the Duke one, like that's plus 12.5. I think the Temple one is like kind of over there. I didn't talk about Missouri over Bama. I don't know what to think. That Bama team always scares me. Some weeks you're like, will they show up? Will they not? And then they don't show up. I don't know. And let me just throw something else out there. A lot of you guys are going to think I'm really, really dumb for this. But let me just pull it up.
Well, while he's doing that, Trent, that line was 17.5 earlier. So, like, Brady Cook may be trending to play in. You might see this fall down to, like, a 12.5, under 14.5 if he's for sure playing. So that's where, like, college football gets hard, is this line has moved 2 points in the last couple hours. There might be some news. I certainly would lean Bama, especially at home. But if Brady Cook does show up, then he can make it a game. But Drew Pine, as a Notre Dame fan, god awful. He looked terrible for them. So you got to know what quarterback's playing. Go ahead, Ty. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. All right, so I'm going to say something, and you guys can think I'm crazy if you want. Take Vanderbilt spread, and then take a money line too. Okay. Yeah. Perfect situation here. They're going up. Texas is coming to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is in full belief, mighty duck mode right now. like little giants. They believe they can beat anybody. They beat Ball State, sure, not a great team. They beat Kentucky. They beat Alabama. They lost to Missouri. They lost to Georgia. But the last 3 weeks, this team has been lights out. Okay. It's so stupid to even say it. No one's even going to believe. There's no reason to do it. But imagine they beat Alabama at home. They're playing Texas now at home. What if? What if?
And each time they had one of these upsets, they were going against like a team that had like a banged up quarterback. And
yeah,
here we go again.
Yep. So I'm going to roll with I'm going to take Vanderbilt. I'm going to take Vanderbilt.
That's a good spot.
So that's it. That's it for my dogs.
Jamil, I think that is BYU. I love them. I think they're great. I think they're at plus 2.5, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely move it to 3.5 if you're gonna do it. I'll lean UCF, man. The bounce house is a real thing. There's a pretty good home field advantage there in Florida. UCF may have found their legs in the run game last week against Iowa State, who is a pretty damn good rush defense, as I talked about. I think UCF probably wins this game. I think UCF probably wins. If I'm going to go with BYU, I'm going to buy it up to plus 3.5, but probably stay away because you just don't know, honestly. But if I had to choose, it's UCF money line probably.
Yeah, it feels like a trap line.
Yeah,
it feels like a trap line. Yeah. But
Santi's not a Santi, whatever, man. Not taking the threes. Had 10 attempts last week. He's got 1 at halftime. Unfortunately, that's the way it goes. Knuckle puck. Anchor down. What else, guys? Other questions. I think we really kind of like scrolling through real quick. I mean, we hit on all the big games. Nebraska, Ohio State is another one at noon. Was looking at probably the under. I don't like under 47.5. Would prefer 49.5 just to get that extra, under 7 touchdowns. Ohio State's got a really big game coming up. Nebraska's defense is actually pretty good. Not good enough to really slow Ohio State down, but enough. And Ohio State's going to want to get in there, get out because they got a big game on deck. So I think the under.
See, I would think the opposite. I would take Ohio State team total,
which could still hit. I mean, unless their team totals.
Yeah. No, I'm just, yeah. But hopefully, they're not in a look ahead spot and they get into a really tight game, and they got to come to Happy Valley next week where I'm going to be yelling. We are. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of them, I think they probably cover tomorrow, minus 6.5. Like Wisconsin's on this like Linsanity run, and like they're not playing good teams. Like they're about to, I don't know, they're about to play a real team. I think Penn State probably covers tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not touching that game. It should be at night. Welcome to Fox. I don't know what we're doing here.
That's about it, man. I don't know if I had any really good feelings.
I think we're good. Okay, Quan. You know what? I'm not even gonna do this with you this evening. Not even gonna do it with you. Not gonna do it. You're not gonna get an ounce out of me. I'll see you next week at 7:30.
What? All right, let me pull this recap up here. For some reason, let's see. Nope, that's not fully what I wanted, but it'll work. There it is. All right, recap. Dalen, I think that is. Ty can't bet props, and it's just such a big slate, and it's just so all over. I talked about liking Cam Ward. I'm sure his line is like minus 350 though, passing. So like it's just some of the good players are just, I mean, to the point where, do you really want to bet on a running back to get 120 rush yards in a game? Like there's so many things that can go, backwards and stuff. It's pretty tough.
I can give you a player prop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ashton Genty to score a touchdown tonight.
Minus 6,000.
Yeah.
Plus minus 110 for him to score 3 touchdowns. All right. I'll go through mine real quick. Ole Miss minus 19.5. Miami minus 20.5. So going with some chalk in the beginning. We're going to go with LSU to win outright. That's just a plus 1.5, dog there. So nothing crazy. More of a pick 'em. Duke plus 11.5 with the defense. Cincy well-rounded to close out my night. I don't bet on anything past 10 o'clock. I can't stay awake. I can't believe there's a USC game on that's 11 p.m. tonight. Like, I'm probably asleep by then. That's actually probably not true. I'm probably still paying attention to – I'm laying in bed looking at the NBA games to see what's going on, half asleep. My phone hits me in my face because I fell asleep. But then Cincy plus 6.5 starts at 10 o'clock. Probably asleep by the third quarter in that game, to be completely honest. Ty, you want to read yours off?
Yeah, I will not be asleep because I watch football all day long. Peak male performance here at the age of 34 to be able to sit on my, my ass and watch,
Got to ice your back from sitting for too long.
12 hours of nonstop action. Red Zone's got nothing on what I put in on a Saturday. All right, so we're going to go Indiana team total over 30.5. We're going to go with the Seaman plus 14.5 down there. Row the boats. Who's going to carry on? Blake Horvath will. Charlotte versus Memphis over 55.5. Life's too short to bet the under. We're going to go Illinois plus 21.5. Sprinkle that money line. Luke Altmaier and the Orange Boys will do it. And Kansas State over 54.5. It's a beautiful thing. I'm going for all 5. There's been multiple times I've lost by 1. I'm getting the sweep tomorrow.
We're going to give it a shot. All right. I don't really have much for a closeout. We're going to close it out. Like I said, I'm ready for some dinner, man. I did some Halloween stuff today, so I missed dinner time, and I'm staring at 9:17 and a rumbling stomach. I appreciate you guys watching. Ty, do you have any closing anything?
No. Listen, life's too short to bet the under. Cue the music.
Appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time.